Okay, for this example, we're going to do a really tricky example of a definite integral, but it requires a double substitution. So we're going to have to substitute for a u, and we're also going to have to substitute for an x. So let's take a look. Our u is going to be 2 minus x. So we can plug that in, got the square root of u, and that means the derivative of u with respect to x is going to equal -1. So we need a -1 right here. So we're going to have to put an extra -1 on the outside. Now the tricky step is that we're still left with an x here, but we can use our u equals 2 minus x to solve this for x, and we'll get x equals 2 minus u. So we can trade our x for a 2 minus u. Now our -1 is the same thing as du dx, so we can cancel the dx's, and we'll just be left with a du. Our square root of u is the same thing as u to the 1/2, so we can distribute the u to the 1/2 on both pieces. That'll give us 2u to the 1/2 minus u to the 3/2. Now I'm just going to distribute the negative on both pieces. I think it'll just make it a little bit easier. So this positive 2u to the 1/2 is going to become negative 2u to the 1/2. And this minus u to the 3/2 is going to be plus u to the 3/2. And I'm going to change my bounds. When x is 2, you can plug in a 2 right here, and you're going to get u is 0. So our u will be 0. And when x is -3, you're going to get u is equal to 2 minus -3. So that's 2 plus 3, and so that's how I'm getting u equals 5. Okay, now we're ready to do this integral. The integral of u to the 3/2 is going to be u to the 5/2 over 5/2. Then we'll put the minus. And the integral of 2u to the 1/2 is going to be 2u to the 3/2 over 3/2. Now dividing by 5/2 is the same thing as multiplying by 2/5. And dividing by 3/2 is the same thing as multiplying by 2/3. We already had a 2 there, so you get 4/3. Remember, you got to evaluate it at 0 first. Then we put a minus, and then you evaluate it at 5. After simplifying all this stuff, you're going to get -10/3 square root of 5. I do want to point out that this minus has to go on both pieces, so please be careful with that. My boxes are the same thing as parentheses. Okay, on this second example, they've given us that this integral is going to equal 15, but we have to find this. So we're going to start with this. Our u is going to be x to the 3rd. So our du dx is going to be 3x squared. So we need a 3x squared here, but we only have an x squared. We're missing a 3, so I can put a 3 as long as I also put a 1/3 in the front. And now my du dx is sitting right there, right next to the dx, so I can cancel the dx's, and I'll just be left with a du. Remember, x to the 3rd was your u. Don't forget to change your bounds. When x is 2, u is going to be 8, so we put u equals 8. And when x is 1, our u is also going to equal 1. Now this part in the box is the same thing as 15, so we can trade it for 15. Then we get 15 over 3, which is 5. So this integral that we started with is equal to 5. So this is a little bit of a puzzle. Hopefully it's a little bit fun to do. I don't want you to worry that these are x's and these are u's. These two things are still going to be equal as long as all of these letters are u and as long as all of these letters are x. So if this one up here is 15, then this one down here will also equal 15. So our final answer is 1/3 times 15, and that's just a 5.